Yeah, okay, wait, hold on a second. Give me a few minutes just to run through.
Few minutes.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm just making sure I have all the slides I have. School 21. Kepler.
Also, by the way, boys, we're at nearly 400 views and likes.
Most of those are from JYPN fans. Interesting.
And now we're going to talk about something that no one's going to watch. We're going to talk about variety shows.
We'll create a clickbait thumbnail. I don't know. Saying like, I don't know, defending Hyungdon and Defconn or something. I don't know. I'll think something.
We'll have like a screenshot of Hyungdon like hitting IU on the head or something.
Sure. Now I'll get something. All right. Hello to everyone tuned in. You're listening to Offbeat Koreans. We're a couple of Korean guys who love talking about K-pop. My name is Insider. I'm your host, and I'm joined with BM and Dubious. So today we're going to be talking about some of the past headlines this week, which involves awards, debut, and shows. Make sure to check out the video description below to see all the topics that we're covering. And if you're interested in watching some of our previous podcasts, please check it out on our YouTube channel. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe. So to start off, since the year is closing down, there are always award ceremonies to celebrate K-pop's biggest acts. The first one was the Asia Artist Awards. This kind of had many of the breakout acts of this year perform, as well as featuring some of the top actors and actresses that came out. And another one that happened very recently was the Melon Music Awards. And this one I kind of want to talk about actually, because the biggest winners of the night were BTS, IU, and Aespa. And Aespa dominated some of the categories. They got the best new female group, and then the best female group, as well as the record of the year. And the record of the year is one of the 3 grand prizes. The 3 of us were kind of having a conversation about this. We thought that some of us thought that Aespa might not have deserved it. Some other groups might have, while some of us thought did. You know, Dubious, you're kind of talking about like you wish you knew what the exact factors were that determines like best girl group. Do you think Aespa kind of fits in that category?
Okay, so wait. First of all, which music award are we talking about?
Yeah, so this one is the Melon Music Awards.
Okay, so this is the Melon one. Okay, so yeah, so when I saw the news that they had won various awards, and I looked at the article, I was like, okay, like best what is it, the album or something? What was the other one they won?
They got the best new female group, and then the best female group as well, and then the record of the year.
Right, the record of the year. I was like, okay, record of the year, like best new female group. I think does make sense. The record of the year, I don't know how that's calculated. I don't know how that compares to boy groups, because I feel like if you did it against boy groups, it'd be very difficult to win, just because the sales would, they're on a completely different level, right, when it comes to boy group sales versus female sales. So I did actually the one award that was in question that I was kind of a little iffy about was the best female group. So I looked up a little bit. There were 5 groups in contention. It was Aespa, Brave Girls, Oh My Girl, Stacy, and Twice. And I was like, okay, so let me see like how they judged this particular award, and said 60% on Melon downloads / streaming counts, 20% on judges evaluation, and 20% on votes. So I think with that being considered, I'm actually completely okay with Aespa having won that, because like if you look at Melon charts, like Next Level and Savage both killed it, like above any other girl group song, I want to say, at least from what I saw this year. So even though I was kind of like, I didn't know how this was calculated, how this award was calculated. I was like, oh, I wonder why Blackpink or Twice didn't win. When I actually saw the formula, I was like, okay, this kind of makes sense.
BM.
Yeah, it's really funny because like before this podcast, Dubious had a different take.
Yeah.
And
we can talk about it if you want.
No, I mean, I agree with what you said. just now, and it's like it's well deserved, right? Like if you look at the numbers, they've done so well in sales, and like on like digital numbers too, like what's it called, like plays, I guess.
Mhm.
And yeah, when you look at the numbers, like Aespa has done so well. Like what girl group has had a more successful like debut? Like probably like hard to count, right?
Right.
Um, and yeah, I think they had expectations and then they broke them, and yeah, it's like well deserved.
Yeah, it's like to consider that they're only like a 1-year-old group and they were
Yeah,
able to get like one of the top 3 grand prizes.
they just had their anniversary too.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Mhm.
right. By the way, BM, I don't know what the 1 to K Original Contents Award is, but I think they just gave it to Stacy because Stacy had a good year.
Damn,
Um,
insider. Jeez Louise.
it's I looked at some of the award categories in the Asia Artist Awards and the Melon Music Awards, and it happens every year. They like create a new award category, but it's like they just kind of
I
created.
gotta talk about this.
Why? What's up?
Okay, well, BM, was there anything else you want to add about this particular topic?
Aespa, no.
Dude, okay, so the Asian, oh, sorry, Asia, and not Asian, Asia Artist
Awards, yeah.
Award, or
Yeah.
AAA. Like I've heard of it before, so like I looked at the link that was sent out, and I was like looking at, the people that had won, and I was like, okay, cool, like BTS, Butter, sure, like blah blah.
Mhm.
Dude, okay, and this is a take that I'm gonna have, and if people hate me, like perfectly fine, I'll accept every error that comes my way, right?
Sure.
Dude, some of these awards and some of the people who've won, like, what are we even doing? Like, I looked at the link that was sent out, right?
Mhm.
Let
For
me
the
see.
Asia Artist Award.
For the Asia Arts Award, dude, there's an award called the Focus Award, right?
Focus Award.
And
Who won
it's
that? Do you remember?
really explicit as to what that means. Exactly. So your question was, what does that entail, right?
Right.
Great question. I googled it, and Google doesn't tell me. Right. So there must be some standards as to what this award is, because there's some categories. There's like, like I think it was like film, like music and something. And
Yeah.
then like last year I saw something, a person called Alexa won it. I was like, who's Alexa? It's freaking Alex Christine from Cruise 48.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, well, what do we have here? And then like this year, do you know who won like Focus Award for music? It's DKZ and Blitzers. They're 2 separate groups, but dude, who the hell are these people? Like, dude, apparently DKZ is like a boy group from like Brave Entertainment or something. But
Interesting.
BKB?
DKZ.
KZ. That's the first time I heard of that.
Yeah, it's not the twice Japanese song Bulldozer. DKZ.
Yeah.
Dude, and then like there's an award that twice won. Very, they're probably ecstatic. It's called the RET Popularity Award, specifically singer. So they're probably just dying in their sleep, knowing that they've won the RET Popularity Award.
Right.
EXO and Twice, CL won it. Great. What are these awards? What are these stupid awards?
Yeah, they're just giving it just to like not hurt like fans. They want to make sure that all the fans are as happy as possible, so they just make it up. Yeah, like 1 to K original content. Stacy wins it. Yeah.
Well, 1K is like a big enough like presence on YouTube that like people would generally know, and maybe they sponsor the award, or who knows, right?
Damn.
What's Red?
I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that really came out of it, I was like, okay, this is like something worth looking at. Was like Aespa looked good. I don't know if you have the picture of Karina, but she was wearing like a bulletproof skirt looking thing. It was kind of weird. Ningning looked really pretty with her ponytails. Winter looked a lot like Irene with her like long hair. But dude, jeez Louise, I don't even know. I don't know about these awards anymore. I feel I've just outgrown them.
Yeah, that's true.
Why do you hate K-pop?
Yeah, apparently I'm just too boomer for these like Focus Awards and Red Awards.
Go yell at some clouds.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, the one big award ceremony that I think a lot of K-pop fans know about is the Mama Awards. This one's gonna occur in like a week. This one, issue had to do more of the lineup, and I could kind of understand. They're comparing like 2015 Mama and the 2021 Mama. And the 2015 one, even when I look at the lineup right now, it was like packed. Like it was stacked with like some class acts. And the 2021 Mama this year,
Class
a lot of
acts.
it is just
Not class acts.
Oh, class acts. I mean, but it's just like a lot of it is like new people, new faces.
Oof.
And I'm gonna say that there's not a lot of veteran acts coming in here. So if you've been like a K-pop fan for a long time, you might not know some of these people. And like I don't know, what do you guys think of this year's lineup? Do you think just a lot of artists aren't coming back to Mama? Was there like Mamas that you remember from before that you kind of miss?
Wait, hold on a second. Is this article correct? It says, meanwhile, the 2021 Mama lineup includes blah, 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 101?
Yes, 101.
Oh yeah, they banded together for that.
That's
Really?
right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wait, this is actually kind of hype. I didn't even know this.
Yeah.
Wait,
It was,
I thought this article was wrong.
No,
I saw it
no.
on Instagram.
Oh.
It's kind
Good
of
for
like
them.
they're yeah.
They
It's kinda
better do
like
Energetic.
comeback
I
album.
love Energetic.
Like a reunion.
Oh
thing.
yeah.
No, they had a song called Energetic I really liked.
Oh, wait, but can I raise a point then? Like, so if the argument is like there aren't any veterans in this lineup, did the 2015 lineup have any veterans relative to their time in the lineup?
Yeah, so Big Bang was kind of like even a veteran back that time, right? And then like Psy and CL. I think one of the other things is like these were like veteran artists who were good at putting on a stage to hype up.
Tetisol was
the
pretty
crowd.
veteran still then too.
Well, I think people are considering Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran's a veteran.
Hey man. Hey.
True.
Hey, they got Ed Sheeran because they saw the rest of the lineup and were like, what the hell are we gonna do with this?
Damn.
They're like, hey, Ed
Wow.
Sheeran, we'll give you like $1 million. Can you come and do a stage?
I was gonna point this out. I thought one of the more high performances would have been from Street Woman Fighter, just because that had a lot of popularity, and because
Yeah, I'm sure their stage will do well.
Yeah. Like there's artists here that we like there's Itzy and Aespa and Kepler,
yeah.
but if I did have to compare it to 2015, like yeah, it isn't as hype, to be very honest.
When was the last like Mama show that you watched, like more than just like your favorite artist?
I see.
I can't remember. Like a Mama like back in the day. When I say back in the day, I mean like maybe a couple of years ago, like 2015. Let's just take 2015. Like when the Mama performance came out, like the next day I would just be on YouTube trying to find like the best quality Mama performance, and like 2015, like what comes to mind, like Big Bang, like when they performed Loser, and like Singly sat on like there was like they were performing Loser, and Singly sat on someone from EXO. I forget his name.
Seun. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it was like iconic. You know?
Yeah.
Did he know he was going to be in jail 6 years later? No, but like it was still iconic back then, right? And so like I think of that, and I think of now. I'm just like, I mean, I'd look up, Aespa. I'd look up Kepler now that we're following them and stuff. Not Ed Sheeran. Not a Mama. If I want to watch a Ed Sheeran performance, it wouldn't be a Mama. Yeah, it's just been a while since I've like actually followed like Mama performances. Like even though I don't follow BTS, if they performed, I would actually give their performance a watch, because I'm sure like they would put up like a good performance, and like the quality of the performance would be pretty expensive, right? But it's it doesn't. We're probably not gonna get similar stages. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling we won't.
Yeah. Another thing that people have pointed out is like a lot of like the big entertainments aren't really sending, like YG Entertainment doesn't send their artists out on Mom anymore, and like what YG artists are pretty good at like creating the stage. So
Mama always didn't. Oh, sorry, not Mama. YG always had a thing against Mama. I remember they had a kind of a conflict, and so whenever YG artists did go to Mama, I remember it was like a bigger news.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now that doesn't happen. But yeah, so Mama will be occurring on December 11th, which is 1 week in terms of this discussion. So, of course, if you're interested in this lineup, make sure to check it out.
Well, one thing I kind of want to add or finalize on the awards thing, right? I feel like big names don't have to go in. I think in the past, like if they went, it was like big news, right? And like doing well at those performances or getting awards was like meant something to them. But now it's just like, dude, like if you're anyone in Blackpink, right, and you have like however many Instagram followers, like will going to this really help you that much? Like if you win an award on Mama, like you could just probably just get a sponsorship and put up one Instagram photo and make more money than you going to Mama. You know, like I don't know. I think it's just not the same even for those artists as well.
Or go to some foreign artist show that might get you more exposure.
Just not the same. It doesn't hold the same prestige.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. On to the next news. Ive from Starship finally debuted earlier this week. Kind of wanted to ask you guys actually, did their debut kind of match your guys' expectations? Do you kind of like feel good about this group? Yeah, I'll start with you.
I'll let Dubious go first.
Oh, let's see. So I'll say this, like in terms of their debut song 11, I actually liked it. I have overall like a positive feeling about it. If you were to ask me like what parts of the song did you like, I really liked like the immediate pre-chorus line, or sorry, the last pre-chorus line where there's the song kind of slows down, and I think the first person who did it was Ray. The song kind of slows down, turns a little kind of freaky, scary, and then it goes into chorus. I really like that transition. The music video was really pretty. The sets looked really well done. Kind of like a stark contrast to what we talked about last week with Billy's music video, where some parts of it was really well built, and other parts just looked like a dance video, right? One thing about their song, it sounded, or their concept, it kind of sounded a bit like a boy group song to me. I don't know the technical terms, so I don't really know how to categorize their song style, but it kind of sounded a bit like a boy group song. It was the same thing with their on their album. They had 11, and then they had a song called what was it? Take It, and that one also kind of sounded like a boy song too. So in general, I was like, okay, this is an interesting concept. Or I didn't think that that's the way that they were going to go down, but I thought it was well done. I did feel like in the music video, the girls like tried really hard to like kind of show that they're like very pretty, and they all are pretty, right? But then I was just kind of like, oh man, they're like really trying to drive home the fact that they're like pretty, and that's just like the overall feeling I got from the music video, at least.
Yeah.
My initial thoughts are when I saw the debut, I don't know, it didn't really catch my interest. To be honest, that's just me. I don't know. I thought it was just okay. Kind of gave me like, I don't know why, but it kind of reminded me of a Lavian Rose. In a way. I think it's just the melody a little bit. But I didn't like Lavian Rose that much either. Compared to other like IZ*ONE tracks. So yeah, I don't know. I will say I do have a, if I had to say my favorite member, it would probably be Ray.
Oh, interesting. I don't think that was the one you chosen last time. I think it was Carl who had you noticed, but in the music video, you think Ray kind of stood out?
Yeah. Oh yeah, probably Ray. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like a fourth gen thing where it's like the sets like, or like the music video is like half good, like, and then half like dance, like choreo.
You felt the same way about this music video as well?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. You too,
What
right?
kind of what kind of music videos kind of like stuck out to you guys like in the past? I guess ones that you thought
Oh,
were like really good.
good question.
Like, can it be like how recent does it have to be?
You know, what, I guess you could just choose any. Honestly,
Like
kind of set like
Peekaboo?
a standard. Oh,
Oh,
Peekaboo.
okay.
Peekaboo was pretty good. Um, if like maybe a more recent one. Wait, now that I think about it, Aespa's Savage is kind of like that too, huh?
Oh, a very heavy dance. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just contradicted yourself, buddy. You
You
just
think,
wait.
think
You're
there's
just
a bias
hating
there?
on Ive. Guys, get this hater.
What the hell? But like other music videos that are like, hmm. No, like Stacy's.
Yeah, I was actually gonna point out Stacy, like their stereotype, for
Yeah,
example, right?
Stereotype. Yeah.
It's very like school setting, right? It's very
Yeah,
clear.
yeah.
There's no major like stage set and like loud explosions. It's very
Loud
simple actually.
explosions.
Yeah, like I mean this one right now I'm looking and there's like I don't know, fireworks in the background.
Oh, okay.
But like Stacy's kind of had more of a storyline to it. I could kind of like follow along. And for some reason, I kind of tend to like simple storylines. Like one of the thing about Luna, sorry to go into like digressing here, but like Luna's a group that I really like. But they used to have like music videos in the past where it just was like all like mashed up of like different themes. It kind of was like a turnoff that didn't
Are
really
you
know
talking
what they
about
were
like
going.
Red Velvet, like Dum Dum?
You know what? Yeah, because those sometimes were really weird. Because number one, I don't know what's going on,
I think that's the
and
point.
yeah, I guess. 'Cause it like does kind of stand out in a way. I don't know. That's not really my style though. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
Stacy, I thought was like really well. Again, the producer I think is really smart.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I agree.
kind
I
of.
mean, a lot of the music videos that I like also have somewhat of a storyline. So like I also really like Peekaboo. But another music video I really liked from Twice was What Is Love. I thought like I also love movies, so maybe that's why. But like it
Oh,
kind of
because they
had
had
a
like
bit of like a
references.
storyline throughout. Yeah, they had a lot of references to movies, but like the song kind of started off with like girls, getting in front of TV and like watching movies that kind of show what love is, right? And like I think
Right.
it was like a very simple storyline. But like BM mentioned, there are also songs like Next Level or Savage where a lot of the song is very choreography or choreography heavy, which can be well done too. So I don't really think one or the other is like the like pattern to go down. But like
Mhm.
I think with fourth gen, I feel like most of the groups. I haven't watched a lot of Stacey music videos, so I can't say, but I feel like they are kind of going down more of the strong presence, dance heavy music videos.
Mhm. Yeah, and it could also just be that we're very biased towards Aespa. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if anyone listened to our past episodes, they should definitely understand that we're biased towards that.
Right, right. We spent a
Yeah,
good 20 minutes on just Aespa and Macy's.
yeah. No shame about that. If you
Right,
give us hate
right.
comments, we'll hate you back.
Exactly. There we go. Well, Ive is doing incredibly well. They have already sold over 100,000 copies just for a debut album. And of course, it may be because people like Wonyoung and Eugene have already debuted before, so they're kind of bringing that image back to this group. But yeah, this is one of the first groups to debut in a good series of incoming girl groups. The next one's Kepler, which will be coming on December 14th. So make sure to check out for them as well. The next topic in mind. Oh, this is a new drama that came out called School 2021. And you guys are probably wondering, how does this relate to K-pop? Well, the guy in the middle, his name is Kim Yohan. He's the first place winner from Produce X 101, which was the fourth season of Produce. But because of the rigging controversy, that group had to disband. So now he's in
Yeah,
a
maybe
group
he
called
wasn't first.
I. That's true. That maybe. But he definitely was one of the more popular members. And he was able to get a big. He actually got the main lead in this drama. And the school franchise is pretty well known. Right now, it's in its eighth 8th, I think 8th. Yeah, 8th in the franchise. There's been other school dramas before. My personal favorite was School 2017, starring Kim Sejong. I know BM, you kind of watched some of the first episodes. Did you have any thoughts on the drama? Do you like where it's going? Any like standout characters? Because I know you said you liked the girl.
On 2021.
Yes, 2021.
I like this. I like the story. I like where it's headed. I think like the episodes so far are pretty good. I don't really want to like spoil anyone, so I'm just gonna like say generally.
Right.
Um, I've enjoyed the acting so far. I don't think it's like bad. Um, I don't want to say it's like good because I don't want to like bring up
Jinx yourself.
expectations.
All right.
But I've liked this show so far. They kind of throw a red herring at you, and I like that. So
Whoa, no spoilers, bro.
yeah. Oops.
You said no spoilers. You're like red herring. Now
Yeah,
look out for the
oops.
red herring.
All right. Oops.
So everyone knows I haven't watched it, so I'm just tossing in stupid jibs here and there. Can anyone explain why she has a shoelace around her neck? Why is there no tie? Why is there a shoelace?
That I cannot explain. I think that's just for personal style.
It's just
that
their
spoilers?
uniform. No, it's their uniform.
Oh,
It's
okay,
just their
okay.
uniform. Yeah, other
BM
girls
had,
have it.
Yeah, BM had mentioned that the girl actually looks like Cho Yuri. Dubious, you think
Oh,
that?
Sometimes. No. It's just like a little bit sometimes.
It's a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit sometimes.
hmm.
Sometimes like the way she acts, kind of reminds me too.
It's just because you like Yuri. It's because you like Yuri, so when this girl does something nice, you're
No.
like, wait a second, this is Yuri.
No. I like Choyeon. I like her.
I've never seen her before. I don't know what work she's come out in before.
Yeah, she's relatively new. I mean, she's done other projects before, but this is one of her bigger roles. The school franchise is kind of well known for including a lot of K-pop stars. It's kind of what helped some lift off, like Songjae from B2B. Sejong, this was kind of like her first big role. But it's definitely a good one to look out for. I highly recommend it. If you want to check it out, it airs every Wednesdays and Thursdays. And it only has 4 episodes out so far, so you're not
Look
missing
out for the red herring.
Yes, and make sure to look out.
Damn.
And on to the final topic. Kepler finally came out with the first reality show called Kepler View. How's the group dynamic? What'd you guys think? Like for me, honestly, I thought Taeyeon and Cheon were really good at kind of like leading the conversation. Youngwon kind of seems like to be like the clown of the group. She gets scared very easily. She has very good reactions. Shen Xiaoting and Hikaru seems to have picked up Korean faster than I thought. That was one thing I was kind of shocked about. What about you guys? Any other thoughts?
Dubious.
I can go first. So this was kind of interesting because in our second episode, I think there was a segment where we talked about what roles we think each girl in the group would take.
Yes, that's right.
And one of the topics was who do we think that would do well in variety? And then I remember Taeyeon came up amongst like our conversations. Taeyeon came up. Young came up naturally. So I was kind of looking out for that. I was like, oh, I wonder. Granted, first of all, this is their first kind of official variety.
That's true.
You know, if you consider GP999 variety, that's fair. But this is the first kind of variety, so you know, we have to kind of give them some slack, right? So you know, of course they could progress and people could get better at variety. But just going off of just like one episode we've seen, I was glad to see that the girls seemed more friendly with each other, at least. Like before they were competitors, and I know on the show like most of the times like they were friendly with each other, but it was good to see that they didn't look awkward with each other, you know, and it was also nice to see that like the foreign members seemed like they were being taken care of, and then were also interacting with the girls well, with the Korean girls well. Let's see. Shen Xiaoting, I was surprised by the amount of Korean that she was able to speak, because before I felt like she was good at understanding, but her speaking was kind of lacking. But I felt like her speaking was had leveled up quite a bit. He kind of actually didn't talk a lot this episode. She was very quiet, and so I couldn't actually tell whether her Korean got better. But in the preview for episode 2, there was points where she was shouting in Korean. I was like, okay, so she actually has gone, better at Korean. But like I will say though, it seems like from the first episode we've seen, like Shen Xiaoting definitely seems a bit more comfortable on camera than Hikaru was, just by the amount of kind of airtime that they gave Shen Xiaoting and how little I think Hikaru actually spoke throughout the episode.
Right.
I don't know if BM was gonna cover this, but Masho's family sent her cat whiskers. Did you catch it? They sent her cat whiskers. So
wait.
Yeah, when they were opening the presents from like their family.
Yes.
Yeah, her family sent her cat whiskers. So like, that's a first. I don't think there's any K-pop idol I've seen where they were like, oh yeah, like I collect cat whiskers. So that was a little,
I remember
weird. But...
the little wood thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember.
I'm surprised they didn't edit that out because it's kind of creepy, but I mean it's fine. But like, what I liked about it, what I liked about the show was the girls seemed like they were very friendly with each other. And like when they were talking, when Hikaru was opening her package with like the ramen that her family had sent her, and she was like, "Oh, when we go home, like I'll make this ramen for everyone." Like the girls are smiling. I was like, it felt good that like it's not like Kepler was like my favorite group or like my most anticipated group, but they just seemed like very like as like one group, and like that was nice to see, especially after just probably all the hardships that they probably gone through over GP999 and losing some of the members that they probably wanted to debut with.
Yeah, that's true. BM, do you kind of have similar thoughts?
I agree too. It was really nice to see all the girls participate and just kind of be naturally friendly with each other. Kind of like they're enjoying like just each other's company, while they're on the show. Yeah, so I agree with Dubious, and regarding the show, I thought there were a lot of funny moments. Like when they were opening presents, how Bai got SpongeBob pants.
Yes, that's right.
I thought that was really funny. And like when Mashiro's parents got her cat whiskers. Like we were watching together, me and Dubious, and it was so weird, right?
I didn't believe it. I thought it was a joke.
Yeah, I remember you were asking me to pause and like go back.
Yeah.
In that, there were moments like the race when they were playing like red light, green light, where Youngun was putting on like I think it was Robin Hood costume, and her hat like flew away.
Oh yeah, because it was really windy.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And like Hyun being a little pea pod. For me, like I think the members that really stood out this time around were Hyun, Chaeyeon, and Youngun. I think they really kind of led the variety portion.
I agree.
Dude, Chaeyeon just like rocketing up BM's list of like favorite Kepler members. Like she was nowhere in his top 9 when they when they were debuting.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's the pink hair.
So Chaeyeon's pink hair for you is like me with Yeso's hair. It's all our affinity is just dependent on their hairstyle.
Yeah, I thought Taeyeon was really cute too.
Yeah, Taeyeon keeps looking more and more like Ryujin every day.
Yeah, one of the things that I was actually thoroughly kind of surprised on was, I thought it was gonna be very like awkward and kind of hard to see because these 9 girls, some of them are foreigners and they just came from a competition show. This is the first official one, but Taeyeon and Chaeyeon, they're like very just kind of like chill and able to like carry on the show without making it like forced or anything like that. And then Eugene kind of being the leader. I guess I didn't see too many leader moments from her, but I guess since it's kind of like more fun activities, we don't really have to see that yet. And then Yeso and Mashiro, they're always like a close type. A little bit more in this episode. Paya seemed a lot brighter in this time around. I'm usually not used to seeing that just because I kind of always saw her a little down. And I think the weight of the show is kind of like going away nowadays. So she definitely seems happier. Any other thoughts on the show, by the way? I thought Shen Xiaoting looked amazing. That's why I got all these snips.
I agree. Another thing was, do you guys remember if they did something similar for IZ*ONE, like right before they debuted? I can't remember.
Oh boy, I'm trying to think. It probably did. I want to say they did.
I feel like I would have remembered because I remember leading up to their debut, I was pretty diligent
might
about
not,
following them.
Yeah, it might not have been this exact kind of a format. I think they might have done this kind of show after their debut.
Hmm.
But like I'm pretty sure they did like V lives before they debuted though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see that they're doing this for the girls because it shows that they're actually committed to them. Which I think they need to be, especially with just how many 4th-gen girl groups there currently are and the competition there is. They're gonna have to really come out strong with their debut song. So it's the right move by Mnet.
Yeah. Well, to go on to the next topic, I think it kind of works out because we are going to be talking about K-pop idols on variety shows. The three of us kind of had this conversation in the past. We talked about how variety shows these days aren't the same, that it seems harder for K-pop idols to appear out on these shows. And just, at the beginning of our conversation today, we were talking about how awards shows, like one of the reasons why they might be lacking is because there's relatively a lot of new faces compared to like veteran faces. And I think a major reason is because of how idols promote these days. And one of the big ways of promoting, I think, in terms of variety, is through YouTube channels. And I think we see like a lot of these for K-pop stars. A lot of them have their own YouTube shows. They go out on like YouTube channels of somebody else with just their own members. Do you guys kind of enjoy these YouTube shows and like kind of any thoughts on transferring a lot of variety to YouTube rather than sticking with television? Dubious, I guess I could start with you.
Yeah, so I think in the beginning, when I say beginning, I can't put a like specific date on it, but around the time that I felt like less and less idols were going on shows, or at least the current day Korean variety shows were moving towards an environment where idols weren't as they weren't as exciting to be on. I remember thinking, man, like maybe the age of like idol entertainers on variety shows is kind of dying off, right? And I was kind of sad about that. But nowadays, like I actually prefer groups kind of doing their own thing. But I don't think that's because the girls themselves are particularly great entertainers. Some of them are. Some of the groups are entertaining. But I think it's because there actually aren't that many great shows for the idols to go out on. Because if there were great shows, because the thing is this, like, yes, these girl group members are entertainers first and foremost, right? Like whether it's by singing, dancing, or by variety, they are entertainers. But for me personally, it's very hard for them to be as entertaining in like a comedic space as like actual comedians or actual, MC hosts. Yeah,
Right.
So like if we had good MC hosts and good comedians that are able to provide an environment for these girls to kind of shine and show themselves, I think I'd watch those shows. And I can definitely say that in the past there were shows that I did watch like that. But nowadays I can't pinpoint a lot of shows. I'm just like, oh yeah, like if I'm like whenever like Twice comes back, like I can't wait for them to go on this show.
Yeah. Do you kind of have similar thoughts of it too?
Yeah, I think I enjoy the YouTube channels more generally. Like Twice's Time to Twice. I really enjoy that series. Aespa had like a couple series that they did. It's like I think the reason why I like it is like cutting out the middleman. It's like direct to you content,
Yeah.
It's a little bit more personable to me. So I think that's why I kind of like it more. Um, and like the ones that are good, I feel like are generally like my type too. Like they're kind of funny, you know. Um, a lot of funny moments. Like I think Twice has a lot of funny moments in their like YouTube series, as well as Aespa. Yeah, I think generally I just prefer those types of videos over like idol shows, because like I agree with Dubious. I think we have a similar take where like Weekly Idol, for example, it's not really the same anymore to us, because like the hosts are different. Um yeah, so like I think this is better for me too.
Yeah, I think one other thing is like because of YouTube, it's kind of easier for these companies to promote these artists in a way rather than having to rely on like NBC, SBS, like all these other Korean broadcasting companies. Like they could do the broadcasting themselves.
Yeah, it's easier to schedule as well for them, right?
Yeah, because they could do it any time if you
Yeah.
have your own YouTube channel. I did kind of want to go back in time, actually, in time when YouTube wasn't really that accessible or as widely popular. Like I'm thinking of like early 2010s when K-pop stars had to come out on variety shows, right? They had to, like, whether it's just like a female led team or like male led team, or if they were just like co-ed, kind of doing like quiz shows. And I remember like loving to like watch these shows. Like I think I like binged watched some of them, and like I just like repeated some of them. Invincible Youth, Star Golden Bell, Dream Team, We Got Married. I kind of want to actually kind of go back in time and ask like what shows you guys like watching back then, and like what made them so fun for you. Dubious, we can start off with you.
Dude. And we're looking at these placards, like bring back so many.
Nostalgia.
Okay. The first one I have to mention, Kuntoria. So if you guys are too damn young to know what that means. So on the left bottom, where you have like Joy
and Songja, yeah.
Yeah, and like Nikun and Victoria from FX.
Right.
They used to have a variety where like usually girl group or guy group members would come out and kind of have like a simulated marriage where they would like do cringy stuff and pretend to live a married life, and for a young boy growing up with no girlfriend, it was a perfect show to watch and live vicariously through, right? Dude, like I loved watching We Got Married. Like We Got Married was something that I would watch like almost just like on the day it came out. I would just watch it. I actually didn't watch 청춘 불패, but I know a lot about it because there's a lot of my friends who used to watch it, and that's how like they kind of fell in love with like dude, Suzy was on it, like that was one of the reasons why he fell in love with it, and it was great because like they were able to show. It was kind of like, if anyone remembers Family Outing, it was kind of like Family Outing but with like girl group members.
Right.
And it was another good show. I love Dream Team. It was kind of I vibed with it. It was a show where like a lot of idol members or singers would come out and do various like sport activities or sports feats. And I think the right bottom is that Star King?
Oh, sorry, Star Golden Bell.
Star Golden Bell, right? Wait a second. Wait. Oh, Star Golden Bell, or is that the one that Kang Ho-dong and Lee did?
No.
Which one was that?
Star Golden Bell was the one that Ji Seok-jin did.
Right, but what was the one that Kang Ho-dong and Lee did?
It was Star King and Kang Simjang. I forgot how to say
that.
Yeah,
a Strong Heart.
Strong Heart, right.
Wait, isn't this Strong Heart? Is this Star Golden Bell?
It's Star Golden Bell kind of had the organized rows. Kang Simjang kind of had it like a little bit mixed up. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch Strong Heart. Star Golden Bell. It was a show where like just idols would be on every week. Like it was just like every week you knew like if either like groups were debuting or something, they would at least make it to one of these shows,
Right.
Especially if they were from like bigger name companies, and that's how they used to promote a lot back in the day. And like they do it now too, to a certain point. Like you kind of expect people to go on like Weekly Idol and things like that, but you don't have the same number of shows, I think, that you have now
that are like accessible to idols.
Yeah, sorry, I went like super boomer there. BM.
I didn't like grow up watching these shows, so I can't really comment on that.
Oh, okay. So you have a different
But
perspective.
You had girlfriends.
yeah, yeah, no. But what I want to like, what I want to bring up is like, kind of like the difference of like the difference in content, nowadays versus back then, like ASMRs and kind of
Oh,
like games in their own like house, like what's it called, like group houses, or like
mhm.
group facilities versus like, like 청춘불패 or like, Dream Team, how different it is like nowadays versus back then. What do you think,
Yeah,
Insider?
no, it is. It is very different nowadays.
Yeah, what do you think, Insider?
It's like I have this one other slide. I actually want to kind of. Here we go. There was a scandal recently where ITZY's Yujin and NCT's Haechan kind of got on a dating
Wait,
scandal,
what?
right? I don't know, their first scene, I think, like wearing similar accessories, and then this one popped up because they had like similar cooking styles, literally, like according to some V lives they did. And like of course, like idols kind of had these dating scandals even before, like back in second gen too. But like We Got Married was one of the shows that I really liked watching, and like back then, like it was kind of just like a normal thing. But like nowadays, like people will just
Hmm.
ship any idols, and like scandals can come up, and like fan bases are extremely obsessive.
Hmm.
And it like as years passed, I feel like in K-pop, companies and both idols kind of decide to like set this bit of like a structure to make sure that like especially like between females and males, they don't really have that interaction. Um, so when you see on like idol stages, they're always like very awkward together. Um, but like back in the time of like We Got Married, and even like in shows like Starring One Bell, and even like Dream Team, they had like these just like couple episodes where like a guy and a girl idol kind of like do things together.
Hmm.
You definitely don't see that nowadays. And like I guess like as someone who likes seeing these kind of like like small romantic things, it definitely does feel like missing some of the old days of like idols freely interacting with each other. And then nowadays, it's really just idols within their own groups, and they have to kind of do their own things. And I don't think it's just a COVID thing. I think it's kind of like a new cultural thing in K-pop. They kind of have to respect their own fans and treat only their own fans, and it's kind of disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, that kind of goes on to the next slide. Like Running Man was definitely one of the shows where idols came out a lot, and like they like made the show. I remember. The one on the left, that was 2013. They had like idols just come out with each Running Man member. They did dances, they did dodgeball, they did like swimming activities, they did like Olympic episodes on the right. But you definitely don't see that nowadays. I feel like maybe it's because like a growing age difference, or because Running Man's becoming more of a talking show. Dubious, I remember you had an opinion on this.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the latter, I think, because I think like just specifically Running Man, it's like a show where the environment's changing, where it's not a good environment anymore for idols to come out and participate because like the episodes that you have on the screenshot, uh, yes, like there was some talking and some interviewing going on when these groups came out, but a lot of them were like, or a lot of what the idols contribute to were like physical games, like they would play like volleyball or they would play like the name tag race. But like in one of the more recent episodes of Running Man, even you just like mentioned like they had segments where they would just keep talking and like they would be penalized if they stopped talking, right? And like
Mm,
he was saying like, why are we even having like episodes like this where we're just constantly talking with each other? Is because the show now recognizes that the audience wants to watch people have more of like a talk show kind of focus,
right,
and
right.
like the chemistry between members and things like that. And like it's definitely harder for idols to just come on a show and jump into that kind of environment than an environment like back in the day where it's just like, hey, come on, let's do a name tag race, like or like do some weird feat or like come out and dance. It's just they still have that. Running Man still has a bit of that, but it's not the same anymore.
There's one other thing that I kind of want to talk about. Running Man, and it was, I kind of had mentioned it, but it was like a growing age difference. So back in 2013, like a lot of members might have known some of these people just because they're like closer aged. The Running Man members were also kind of younger, and they were still able to run around. I feel like with like fourth gen groups that are debuting now, the Running Man members might not really know them as well. And they might not really have like similar stories or similar kind of like there's like a big generation gap for them. And I feel like that's also one thing that kind of makes it a little awkward sometimes when I see like fourth gen group on Running Man. Like if they're able to run, like that's fine. But when they're having like talks, I remember like it's not the same when like Super Junior is talking compared to like some other idols. Like even like older groups, like when 2PM came out, they're still able to kind of hold on to their own because they're able to have like some kind of a conversation with the Running Man members. But for a lot of idols these days, I feel like they're overly cautious, very cautious to the point where, whenever they do talk, it does kind of feel a little forced, and like I can know that they are being very careful. So yeah, I think that's one other reason why too. On top of the fact that Running Man is becoming more of a talkative show, but I think the one show that is kind of symbolic of idols and how idol culture on variety shows have changed is Weekly Idol. This show, it's literally the representative idol show. Started back in 2010 with these two guys on left, Hyungdon and Defconn. And around like 2017, 2018, they left to do Idol Room. And then until then, a bunch of other people have kind of picked up the hosting. Nowadays, it's Super Junior's Eunhyuk and Kwangi. And I know you guys have kind of mentioned that Weekly Idol has kind of changed because of these hosts. I kind of wanted to ask what you guys meant by that. BM, I know you had mentioned that.
I miss the old Weekly Idol.
Well, what do you miss about it?
I just miss Defcon and Hyungdon. I think I don't know. I think they're more entertaining as hosts. I think they like they get like more they feel a little bit more personable. They like I think they kind of get into it more. I don't know. I feel like Dubious has really similar like opinions. And I feel like they have a little bit more knowledge of their guests too. I don't know. Dubious, what's your take?
Yeah, 100%. Like, man, back when these, Hyundon and Defcon were the hosts, like, it was a show that, like, I would just watch every week, regardless of who was on. And it would just always be like an event because, like, weirdly enough, like, you think that Eunhyuk and Kwang-hee would be more closer to the guests because they're in the same kind of
Industry.
music industry and they're seniors, right?
Right.
But it was like, if anything, it's like complete opposite, where Hyungdon and Defcon were a lot more like, and maybe it was like the older generation of TV where they were a bit more savage, and so like they didn't hold back, right? So like example would be like if anyone's ever watched IU just getting her head smashed in
Yes.
by the mangchi, the little hammer thing, the red hammer, like there's no world where Kwang-hee or Eunhyuk is gonna do that, and like and that's like one isolated incident, but like when I was watching a recent episode where Stacy came out on Weekly Idol when the new hosts were on, like, dude, like even some of the segments where it was like a random dance segment where like they try on different songs at different parts, and like the girls quickly have to get into formation and like dance along to the song, right, in a short amount of time. Like, dude, that used to be fun because Hyungdon and Defcon would know the dance and they would like pinpoint any little issue, and like the prizes would go from like, I don't know, like a TV down to like fried chicken down to like boba. But like with Hyuk and Kwang-hee there, they just let Stacy win in like the first pass. I'm just like, what do you destroyed the segment? What are you doing? Like, we're not watching this. I mean, like it's even like what felt bad about that wasn't even the fact that it was boring. Sure, it's boring. No, I feel bad for Stacy members because it's like the show's not the same as what it used to be. You know, it's like they're not getting the same experience of like of these actual hosts that kind of carry the show for a while. Like I don't know, I feel like Eunhyuk and Kwang are just kind of getting by, and like I don't say that because I don't like these guys. These guys are perfectly fine, and like in other shows they've done very well. It's just on this show it doesn't work, and I feel like they're just not comfortable being outside the box. Like, yeah.
Imagine like growing up watching these shows, like dreaming of like being on them because you're like a trainee and like like trying to be an idol. You finally get there, and it's like this,
Dude, it's sad. Like, and like some of the lines that they would say after like segments, it's just completely scripted.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you
Yep.
guys, like this isn't it. Like I know you're trying to make sure the people that come on the show don't feel bad, but like and maybe it's because they don't know the Stacy members. Like that was the one episode I watched recently. So maybe like if a boy group came on, they were a lot more mean to them or a lot more friendly with them. I don't know. But like Defcon and Hyungdon wouldn't have been discriminating like that, you know. Not in like a bad sense, but like they wouldn't have, they would have acted towards them the same way, you know. And Stacy deserved it. Like the groups that are coming out. Okay.
Yep. Cool.
We
Our
had some
takes-
technical difficulties.
Our takes were too powerful.
Yeah, they didn't. Maybe Craig was made by Eunhyuk and Kwangi.
What was it? Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask this one question because I know a lot of our viewers will have it, and it's probably a controversial take, but I think the three of us at least agree. When people say that Hyungdon and Defcon were violent and offensive, do you see it that way? When they hit IU with the rubber hammer, and they were making some jokes that are seemingly offensive to some people.
Whew. Well, so you want us to die, huh, Insider?
Yes.
So I'll bring up like another data point that people were.
Do you want me to speak
not
first? Actually, I got kind of a point.
Well, I also want to bring up this topic, and then you can talk about it.
Sure.
People are also. I remember because I'm a big Twice fan. I remember there was also an incident where, it was with Chongyeon, and I don't know if you guys remember specifically, but like they were asking her like. She was talking something negatively, but like it was kind of in a funny way about a member, and like and I think Defcon and Hyundong were like, oh, the rest of the girls like close your eyes, like we won't say who it is. And like Chongyeon told them, and then like they kind of blurted it out, and like people were like, you shouldn't have done that, like that, you know, you're kind of ruining the privacy of the group, or like you're being mean towards Chongyeon, things like that. So like there were incidents like that, and like IU being smashed in her head, losing a couple inches of her height, things like that too. Inside, if you want to take it first, go ahead.
The reason why I kind of thought I wanted to bring it up was I think it was kind of a Korean sense of humor that differed from a lot of like international fans' sense of humor. And another thing is, I think the history of these two guys, Hyungdon and Defcon, is that a lot of Koreans know them and they kind of know their sense of humor, and that I think people tend to know that they have a very savage sense of humor as well. Hyungdon, he was part of one of Korea's most famous TV shows, and in that TV show, you do kind of have to be very spontaneous. You kind of have to be loud and disruptive, and he kind of brought that to the show. And I think when a lot of like viewers were kind of watching, especially those that didn't know Hyungdon, it came out as very like shocking, and it made them kind of worry for their idols. But I will kind of say that I think the outlet, the backlash, was a little unnecessary, because I do feel like as a K-pop star, you kind of know these guys as well, and you know their sense of humor. And one of the things that I will say is, yes, if I was like, a producer of Stacy, I still would have at least wanted them to have done an episode with like Hyungdon and Defconn at least once. I think there is a like an upside of being pushed on variety, rather than doing things safe. Because like above all else, you are kind of going out to variety to kind of learn these kind of variety skills from these guys, and show like different sides of yourself. And I feel like idols that did shows with Hyungdon and Defcon, they're able to show that, but not so much with Eunhyuk and Kwangi. And yeah, I think that's why. BM, do you have any similar thoughts?
I'm glad you brought up the point about like the humor difference. I think it's like it's different because they're not just like a guest show, like hosting guests, right? It's a little bit more of like a familial type humor
Mhm.
where they're like comfortable with each other, enough to like, like I don't think honestly in my opinion, IU wasn't hit that hard. I just rewatched it. I don't think she got hit that hard. Like, and it's like a rubber like mallet,
Rubber
right?
Hammer. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, rubber hammer mallet, whatever. Like, I mean, come
Rubber
on.
mallet? Wait, rubber mallet's like an actual thing.
Oh,
Wait, what's the English term for it? It's like
like toy
it's like air.
rubber.
Yeah, it's like an air-filled hammer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So rubber mallet's like what you use to like put in like the spikes in the tents, and
Oh.
people might be like surprised that you got hit over the head with a rubber mallet.
Oh.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, like we've all been hit by that before, you know.
Yeah. At
And
least Koreans. Yeah.
We know like the parameters of like how much pain it delivers. So like let's be honest, like didn't hurt, you know. And like that's like the different type of humor where like they're comfortable with each other enough to like do stuff like that. And it's like okay, you know.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think
know.
Yeah, I think the cultural difference was one thing that kind of brought these guys down. Like if you look at like a lot of like Asian humor, we kind of tend to like make fun of, like weight and look sometimes. And it's like kind of seen as normal on like Korean variety shows. Of course, if you do that like on American TV shows, that'll be like heavily looked down upon. And I'm not saying like Hyungno and Defcon made those kind of comments, but I think their way of kind of joking with the idols, I think many of those idols kind of understood and went along with it. I think the fans' reactions, as the fans started to become like wider and popular among global fans, the reactions to these two guys just kind of became dim. And I almost like think that may have been one of the reasons why these guys left Idol Room, is because most of the people watching Idol Room are like foreigners, and they kind of saw like the backlash they were getting. I don't know.
Dubious.
Yeah, I mean, maybe maybe our podcast is like just a small, microcosm, and outside people are just like, what are you dummies talking about? Like Eunhyuk and freaking Kwangi are freaking amazing hosts, So maybe it's just that we like the humor of Defcon and Hyundon more, and we just kind of vibed with it. For me, it's just my opinion. I just think they were better hosts. I thought they were more fun and they brought more out of the girls. I'm just gonna talk about girl groups specifically, and I also feel like when the girl groups are on, they felt more comfortable with these hosts, and like when we're talking about like topics like abuse or allegations of abuse, it's just like, yeah, maybe it did happen, but like for me, I would probably go on the side that the girls liked the host. That's why they came back on the shows. It's not like the girls had to come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I would love to see data on seeing how well these or this show has done over time, and whether when they switched MCs, whether the viewership has died or has increased. But like I personally, I just miss these guys a lot.
Yeah. One thing I
see.
actually do want to point out was, like you said, some of these idols might have liked being with Hyungwoo and Defcon, and people were like, "Oh, I don't think Twice would have liked doing that." I would disagree, because when these guys went on to Idol Room, Twice went on that show a lot, They seemed very close with these guys. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think
like pretty much every comeback. I mean, up until when they were in Idol Room, like they came out on the show,
Yeah.
right? That Hyungdon
Yeah.
and Defconn did. So
Yep.
exactly. Yeah, we're gonna make a point.
No, I was agreeing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, with that in mind, I guess I kind of wanted to end by asking what you guys want to see for like future variety shows. Is there any current good shows for idols? Is there anything that you kind of want to see? I'll start with Dubious, I guess.
I think Knowing Brothers is still doing somewhat of a good job. I think
Right.
at least their humor matches with mine, and I feel like even when girl groups come on, like Heechar does a very good job, I think, of bridging like the older MCs on the show and also
Mm,
the kind of like girl groups that are coming out, and they feel comfortable on Heechar, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Heechar knows a lot of people, right? So like, I think even if he was to say something that's a bit more sarcastic or a bit more hard to hear, like the girls wouldn't take it the wrong way. I think the audience knows what to expect, right, from what Heechar says. And I think, members like Isugun and people like that also do a very good job. So like, I think the dynamic of the show will be so much different if Heechar and Isugun and people like that weren't there. Then like when they come on the show, I think like I forget the basketball guy's name. I really like him, but I forget his name.
Seo Jang-won?
Yeah, so like people like that, it'd be very hard for them to interact with the girls as naturally. But I think members like Heechar really helped the show to still allow the girls to kind of present sides of themselves that we don't see on a daily basis. So I think Knowing Brothers is good. Honestly though, I wouldn't really care if girl groups didn't come out on these shows anymore. I think what we talked about earlier, where they do their own YouTube stuff, I think they're getting better at it. And the more I watch those shows, and like the more I watch it, I feel like the production side is getting better as well, because now like SM or JYP, those companies have to get better at like making or preparing shows for these girls, right? So I think even like the producers that they hire to do these shows are getting better at showing different sides of these girls that we now can't see on a lot of variety shows. So I personally don't care if they don't come on these shows. I think their individual shows that they do by themselves are sufficient for me.
Mhm. And what about you? What do you want to kind of see for future shows, or if there's any good shows for you? BM.
I agree. I like Idol Room too. And what's called Knowing Brothers. I think I don't know. Besides those two,
There's not a lot.
yeah, not a lot.
I
I
mean, if they
think
come on Running Man, I'll definitely watch it because I still watch Running Man.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. It's like Running Man, sure you have to watch it, right?
Yeah.
But like I don't know, I guess like I have been enjoying the direct to you content too.
Mhm.
Like Twice does a good job of it. Like a really good job of it nowadays. Like their last
We laughed so hard watching their last it wasn't through
it wasn't
JYP, but it was
it
through a
wasn't through
different.
JYP, it was through like I think it was KBS or something. But it was
But it was
Idol,
completely girls focused though. There wasn't like another MC or anything like
yeah,
that.
Human Idol
Mm.
Theater or something. Yeah. That's what it was called. And it was like really funny.
Dude, I'll
And
attach
like
that
well done.
like clip of Momo just like being in shock, fake shock.
Yeah,
That
and
was
like
so funny.
sometimes like I feel like cutting out the middleman a lot of times is like more like funny and like personal
Mhm.
because it's like more natural, you know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I guess like looking ahead, that's what I want to see more. I guess I'd rather like them invest into like their own like content, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and just like yeah, just focus on that.
I guess I kind of want to ask it in this way too, BM. It's like back in like 2010s, all these kind of K-pop stars had to come out together on these already like famous shows. But now, since they're doing kind of their own things on YouTube, um, is that? Do you think that may be one of the reasons why some Korean audiences don't know of these groups? Because they're not appearing on these big shows anymore, but rather on like YouTube, and like Korean people wouldn't like take initiative in like looking at these channels.
Yeah, and like I guess maybe it's like maybe they shifted their focus on demographic.
Mm,
You know, like they're appealing to just more like the younger audience as opposed to trying to draw in like
the general.
The average
yeah,
Joe. Yeah.
yeah, a general audience. Um, I don't know. What's your take on the Dubious?
It's a really good question that I, have no data to back up my answer on, but like I do think it's targeting the young generation. I actually don't know how like ubiquitous like YouTube is in Korea. Like I see a lot of Korean comments on YouTube, but I don't know if like is like Naver like the first kind of like video streaming platform they use in Korea.
I see.
So like I mean I know like I think Twice has a Naver channel. I think I've seen a couple of videos of them on there. So I don't know, maybe they aren't able to get their name out to like the older generation of people who depend solely on TV as their like source of news or source of entertainment.
Right.
But I wouldn't be worried about at least the younger generation in Korea specifically, like not knowing about these groups because they don't appear on TV as much. Like I think if anything, they have more access to these girls through their cell phones and through like streaming websites that they normally use more so than TV.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess what we could say also for certain is one thing that's kind of been lost over time is kind of like that interaction between idols. Because there is kind of that focus to just do your own YouTube channels. If you're a Korean viewer, you're either going to watch this group, that group, or you might watch all three. But like you're not going to watch one show and see all of them together. It's
yeah
going to be its own thing.
That is actually a great point. We actually don't see a lot anymore. Like we don't have like I forget the name, but the show that Suzy was on, Prudpet something.
Oh,
something.
Invincible Youth.
Invincibles, right? Yeah, like we don't have that anymore for girl groups as far as I can remember. So that is a little bit sad.
Yeah. Well, we'll only have to see. There may be new variety shows that come in the future.
Nah. I'm joking.
Well, that concludes our discussion on K-pop stars and variety shows. And of course, if you'd like us to discuss any other topics, please do leave your comments and opinions down below. And of course, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel. So, thank you.
We answer to every comment. Even if it's hate ones, we'll leave a reply. We'll be like, thank you. And then some reply.
Gladly reply.
Gladly reply.
So goodbye.